Great. I'm so excited to join you once again. I want to really have a series on this topic that I've been having with you on the fact that you need to turn your ideas into reality. How do you actually do that? I read a quote from Mark Zuckerberg which said that ideas do not come out fully formed. They only become clear when you act on them, which means that whatever idea that you have, whatever idea that you really desire to have, it may not be clear in the first instance, but after some time, when you decide to act on them, it gets clearer. So ideas in itself are not clear. Yes, you may have an idea to do something, one thing or the other. The idea may not be clear to you initially, but as you make the effort to really act on them, to really initiate the process, then it becomes clearer. So you do not have to necessarily wait for everything to be clear to you before you take the first step, right? And that is the most important thing you have to know. A lot of people think that they have to get everything picture perfect in their mind before they actually act on what they want to do, but that is not the case. What you need to do is to, as I said, take baby steps every day to be able to ensure that that idea that you have comes to fruition. So it's not necessarily what you really sometimes it may not be necessarily what you really wanted to do. The idea could just take a different form. It could just be something, you could just end up doing something that you never thought of in the first place. But the most important thing, that you acted upon it. You took an initiative to do something that came to mind. And for me, that is the most important thing that any of us should ever think of, because ideas rule the world. Ideas rule the world, and anybody with ideas to solve problems really gets the necessary attention in this world. And so what I usually tell people is that you need to first of all find ideas that solve problems, because when you solve problems, people then look for your services. Your services will be needed everywhere. You don't have to necessarily look at what somebody is doing to be able to do the same. What you have to do initially is be able to look out solving problems that people really have, and that is when people will get the attention on you, because when I have a problem and you help me solve that problem, you get my attention. And that is the most important thing that you need to know when implementing an idea or two, because once you are able to put whatever you have in your mind to help somebody solve their problems, you get the attention of the problem. All right. And so money goes where attention goes. Okay. So if you're able to get a lot of attention with your ideas, with your solution, of course people would pay you for it. But people will pay you for it because you are able to solve their problems. There are a lot of problems in this world that people really want to get solved, but not all these problems are solved. And so if you can go out there and then find solutions to a lot of these problems, trust you me, you're going to get the attention you want, and money will follow. And so what I want to tell you, that it is important for you to really understand that your idea must solve a problem. It must solve a problem that people really really need. And so a lot of times we think that, hey, we are not the person to solve that particular problem. But that is not a fact. People are waiting for you to take that action to solve their problems. And so most of the time we do not think that we are the one to solve the problem, but the problem is actually there and nobody is taking action to solve it, right? Nobody is taking action to solve that problem. Everybody is waiting for the other person to start. And as a result, nobody does. And because nobody does, the problem is not solved. And so we keep going around the circle, waiting for somebody to take the first steps. And for me, that is our biggest problem, taking initiative. We fail to take initiative most of the time. A lot of us fail to take initiative because we think the other person will do it. But the other person will never do it until you do it. I believe that we all have what I call a unique calling that we need to respond to. And until we respond to that calling, probably nobody will respond to that calling in your place. But how do I know that this particular calling is my calling? Yeah. So what you need to look out for is that whenever you find that there's something that you really, really are burdened about, and you really feel like somebody would actually address that problem, that is a signal that it is something that you have to work on at achieving or at forming ideas to solve it. Because if this particular thing is a burden to you, note that, hey, other people are suffering from the same thing. But it is a burden to you in particular because you have been given the mandate or the skill to really act on that particular problem. And so whatever it is keeps prompting you and waiting that you act upon that burden. We are called upon to use our giftings to be able to solve problems to help humanity.